Hi everyone, welcome to John's Briefs. Back again with the Baron of Barristers, Tim Forshee.
Hello, man.
Literally my favorite criminal defense attorney, and one of the few who I think is a good, sane, sober, moral, prudent person.
Wow. High praise.
A very good one. So we recently had a video on the channel that if you're in the app, we even did a React Ripple on it because people took me to task about how could I? Now most people got it, but there were a few people that were like, John, how did you see it this way? This guy was just defending himself. When I said what he did, and that was the one in Seattle, was clearly aggravated assault, and he was gonna get buried under the jail. So I wanna talk to Tim about it. To win the fight after the fight, you need help. After a use of force, I trust Firearms Legal Protection to help me win the fight for the rest of my life. From their 24/7 attorney-answered hotline to coverage for the use of all legal tools, Firearms Legal Protection has you covered. Get a discount by signing up at the link below.
All right, show me your ID. Show me your ID. Sorry, guys. This guy's my friend over here. I'm friends over here. This guy's over here being a clown. Where's your ID, sir? Show me your ID.
So you've seen it now, and you probably saw it earlier on the main channel. If you're not subscribed to the main channel, I noticed there are a few people that are subscribed on YouTube to the extra channel and aren't subscribed to the main channel, which is odd to me. I mean, it's not wrong. You're welcome.
These are the luxury car drivers. They don't want to see all the Datsuns on the road, I guess.
So that one, that whole video was
troubling.
A steaming pile of mess.
Yeah.
And just a disaster of epic proportions. And again, some folks, a minority for sure, but enough, people are vocal on the YouTubes and they tend to comment more out of negative emotion than positive, right? So
just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, so if somebody agrees, they just like the video and move on, right? Like you should like this one. And and if they disagree, then they're gonna comment and go, Korea, you are a long-haired idiot.
And it takes them a long time to detect that with just the two fingers and their tongue sticking out.
I mean,
the trolls.
Listen, sometimes, there are plenty of people who agree with you that I'm a long-haired idiot. So, okay. but here's the thing. I look at that and I say, the first thing I look at and I go, okay, show that video to a jury.
Right.
What are they going to say about that? Just your average 12 people, not 12 people who are watching Active Self-Protection Extra. Well, maybe 12 of you because y'all are pretty good people. But average 12 people watching videos on YouTube. And you show them that. What are they going to say? You watched it. What do you think?
It rings to mind the old Texas axiom. So again, put your earmuffs on, bad language coming up. But the old Texas axiom of the asshole had it coming.
Yeah.
And when you talk about this guy's priors and how he's gone out and done this kind of thing before, it's like, that's the kind of guy that, the world's probably a better place if he's locked up. I'm sorry to say.
It is.
But I hate to be the judge. It's not like I'm the supreme being here, but that's, that guy shouldn't be out walking around. So a jury's going to feel the same way. Most, sober, sane jurors are going to feel the exact same way about it.
Well, and a prior conviction is coming in court.
Oh, yeah.
Now, not prior bad acts that are just alleged bad acts, but prior convictions.
Prior convictions that are more than 8 years old, or that misdemeanors. But any prior felony, almost all prior felonies, but certainly any prior felony within the last 8 years is going to come in. Yeah.
So significant issue here. This guy is really problematic. And what I said was, the problem he's going to have is, and some people saw and said, well, wait a minute, this guy then advanced on him with a knife in his wheelchair. Okay, just jog off, easy day. And then he pulled what looked like a gun. And it did. It was a BB gun, but it looked like a gun. And they said, but he pulled a gun on him, John. That justifies him using deadly force. And what I said was, the problem is he took by force the guy's patch off of his electric wheelchair.
Which is robbery.
Which is, it's not theft.
Yeah.
Taking by force is robbery. Right. And therefore, he's in the commission of a serious crime.
Well, and in Arizona, this would have been an even simpler case, I think. I'm not familiar with Washington State laws. I wish I could say I was. I'm not. But in Arizona, there's a very clear-cut, there's an exception to the use of force defense, and that is if you start the fight, you lose the right to end the fight legally. And this guy, by any stretch of the imagination, started the fight. There's this guy on the boardwalk. I'm assuming maybe he's got a sign that says disabled vet.
He's playing some music.
Anything will help, or whatever, playing some music. But this guy comes up and starts tasking him and pushing him. And again, when he tears the patch off, it's arguably a very serious crime.
Yeah.
But did he start the fight? Was he the instigator? Clearly, beyond a doubt. That was
Instigator
absolutely
of the
true.
verbal argument.
Right. And that's all it takes in Arizona. If you start the fight, the only way you can reclaim the right to self-defense is you have to repair that. You have to retreat, basically apologize, retreat, and then the other person has to have lost their temper and then re-engage you so that there's now a new fight started by them. That clearly did not happen here.
No,
I don't that I saw. So, to me, there's just no self-defense angle here by law. I love the robbery analogy, which I would eventually come up with that. My brain doesn't work as fast as yours, but I will tell you this that just adds icing to the cake because I think this was clearly this guy was in the wrong. Yeah.
Well, in every state in the union, when you are the instigator or the provoker, this is 1,000 years of English common law. So you got to remember, most self-defense law in the United States, almost all of it, is imported from English common law. Now refined over the years, but it's all, at its core, English common law, which goes back to, I would say, 3,500 years of the Judeo-Christian ethic of the use of force, okay, which is adults use words. And you can stop an aggressor from harming you.
Right.
There's our core, right? But if you're the one who started it, well, then you put the quarter in the jukebox and you don't get to claim self-defense at that point. And that's exactly what the prosecutor said. Yeah. You don't get to claim self-defense. You started the fight. Good.
Which is as it should be. And, I'm told you said that the guys, obviously the gentleman was disabled in the first place and did survive. We were discussing before we turned the camera on that we hope he survived with little ill effect. I don't know how bad his
shot in the chest. That's going to be pretty serious.
That could be pretty. That could have gone through and hit his spine. He could be paralyzed in addition to his prior problems. I don't know. I hope not. But and like we said at the beginning, I don't know if it was a stolen valor situation. I would hope not. And if it was, that's deplorable, but it's not justification for, stealing from somebody and punching them and slapping them around and trying to get the crowd involved and all this kind of stuff. It was just reprehensible what this guy did.
It was. And so I had a friend look it up. Sometimes I just don't have time to do these things, but that particular defendant, judge put him up on a $750,000 cash bond.
That's cash only.
Only.
That is a serious statement right there.
That's the judge saying, no, this is a big deal.
And by the way, just so you guys know, a lot of times, people say, well, how do you figure out what your fee is going to be in a case? A lot of times I look at that number. If the state thinks it's that serious, then I think it's that serious. Yeah. So that if they want a secured bond of $750, I might want a secured bond of $750 to take this case on. So that's just that's usually a pretty good gauge of the value of the case, which is scary.
And his defense attorney said that, this is self-defense, and we're going to argue.
What else you got?
You don't have any other defense.
That's his only prayer. This guy had a knife.
I got you on video shooting a guy. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to stipulate that I shot the guy, but I was legally privileged to do so.
Plus, did you notice how he was like, "Don't worry, everybody, I got this. Yeah. It was like he thought he was a superhero, and then afterwards, like, "Oh, you're safe. Everything's good." No, there's a maniac with a gun shooting people. I don't know if that makes me safe or not, but.
So this is one of those cases where if the defense attorney called me and said, "John, I'd like you to look over discovery," you never know what discovery shows. Okay, so I've seen discovery where you're like, "Ooh, that's an important piece of documents." It would take a lot to reverse what was on video. It would take something hugely monumental, which I wouldn't anticipate here.
And don't forget, here's something. This guy's got a high profile as an extremely good use of force self-defense expert. If I'm the defense attorney and I don't want the state to call him, maybe I call him right off the bat, give him 20 grand, and now the state can't use him. And that's a tactic that you see, especially in smaller communities where you have limited experts or limited lawyers. So you have to be aware. And obviously, I'm not telling John anything; he knows that. But Just so you guys know that out there, that's also a factor.
But probably then I end up talking to that attorney and saying, man, you don't have a case for self-defense here. You don't. I mean, based on what the facts are and how they're, at least what we see so far.
And how many times have you told lawyers that? I'll bet
I've
a lot.
I've told them a bunch.
Yeah, I have too.
I just had a case. I have a case right now. It's not finished yet, and it is here in the state of Arizona. And it's a tragic thing, and it's a good guy who unfortunately did wrong.
Yeah.
And because of the facts here, and there's oh my gosh, Tim, there are 83 witnesses.
Holy cow! Is
And
it
so-
homicide?
It's an aggravated assault.
Okay.
It's a shooting, and 83 witnesses. It was in public in a place with a lot of people. So there are 83 cameras to watch of interviews.
You have to lay foundation for all of those.
Yeah,
That's
so,
a 4-week-long trial for an ag assault.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and again, so if you want my opinion on it, I
Yeah.
have to look. I
Yeah.
have to watch every interview. I have to see exactly. Now, those are just the interviews.
Yeah.
So then, plus we have like 8 police officers who responded, and they have like 2 hours each of badge cam.
And you've got 160 pages of police reports.
There was the initial discovery report that I got from the defense team from the prosecutor was 340 pages.
It takes time.
And so I looked it over, and he paid me a 10-hour retainer. I looked over 10 hours of it, and I said, there's surveillance video and all these things, and said, you don't have a self-defense claim here, friend. The unfortunate thing is because of these facts, you're not going to be able to sustain a case of self-defense, I don't think, here. And the attorney went, except for I don't think there's another defense. And I said, you're right. I agree with you.
But this is
counselor.
all I got. Uh-huh.
But I don't think you're gonna. And he's like, this is probably one that I need to.
Yep.
I need to plea, huh? Yeah, this is definitely one you're gonna want
Before
your
you
best
make them work hard and piss them off.
and
Yep.
make them mad.
Yep.
And so we've had cases like that. In this particular case, it's a public defender case, and he said, hey, I still want you to look through all of the rest of this discovery. And I'm like, I mean, if you get approval from the state from the county on my billing, I mean, we'll look through it all.
And that, once again, folks, means your tax dollars at work, just so you know. So,
but he needed it in this case. So
Yeah.
I'm still digging through it right now and just watching and watching and watching.
and that's the worst part, because there's a foregone conclusion that you're not going to overcome, most likely.
Almost
You're
certainly
hoping and praying, but that's
almost certainly not going to overcome. But the
Yeah.
attorney has asked me to watch it all and look at it all and read it all and see it all. And you go, all right, well. So there's other stuff in that. So I've told this to attorneys multiple times. I mean, you don't have a case here, unfortunately, and that can happen. So anyhow, don't start fights.
Don't be an a-hole.
Yeah,
Right.
and of course, go watch the main channel video for the other lessons about, goodness sakes, an 8.6 second draw to first hit is not going to, that's going to argue against you in justified use of force.
Yeah, I mean, both of them, frankly. I mean, the gentleman in the wheelchair, I think, has got a much better excuse, but this guy's out walking around the boardwalk in Seattle, which has pretty strict gun laws, by the way. And, he reaches into his lovely tote bag, and it takes him, what would you say, eight and a half
8.6
seconds?
seconds.
Folks, if that's not down to 2 or 3, then that gun is absolutely not an asset. It is a liability only.
And where a prosecutor is going to get him on that is preclusion. Well, wait a minute. In 8.6 seconds, you had better choices.
Right.
You had plenty of opportunity. I know some people are going to say, but John, it's stand your ground. And you don't have to retreat. Even in a stand your ground state, you're going to make an argument that says he's not legally obligated to retreat, but it sure would have been smart to.
And believe me, that comes up all the time. You're not required to retreat, but why didn't you retreat? I always I call it the Nike defense. It's I've done it twice in my own personal life and saved my goose both times. I didn't have to run. I ran. I don't want to get in a gunfight.
Right.
So if I can avoid it, I'm going to avoid it. And that should be, I think, all of our philosophies.
So don't start fights.
Please.
Don't pick verbal arguments, because you end up a verbal argument and it can escalate, and then you end up in a gunfight. Even if you win the gunfight, guess what? If you take up residence in a state-sponsored gated community, you really lost.
I've had, not to exaggerate, probably 100 road rage cases where just literally some guy cut me off, and next thing you know, 3 minutes later, people are shooting at each other. I've had a parking lot case. This guy stole my parking space, and it's talk, yell, cuss, flip, knife, gun. What in the hell are you doing here? I mean, you could have driven another 20 yards and got another parking space. Just calm down, take a breath.
Had a case next month, it'll finish, so I'll be able to talk about it on the channel. Road rage ends up with a guy dead in front of his wife and his child. because he couldn't let it go. And I think folks here that watch this stuff are firearms carriers and they think they're going to win every gunfight. That's not necessarily the case.
I would argue that if you win the gunfight, you didn't win.
Yeah.
Because having a gunfight was a loss.
It was a loss.
So
It was a loss.
yeah.
So don't pick fights.
please.
And remember, if you're in the commission of a crime, you lose the right to self-defense, and therefore all bets are off. And this guy, he wasn't able to post $750,000 of cash bond. And so he's still sitting in jail right now, enjoying the government-sponsored bologna sandwiches and trying to fight off the other inmates and decide which prison gang
He's
is
kind of
best
a
for him.
good-looking guy too. So yeah,
That's a problem for him,
that's
right?
not good.
And
Yeah,
again,
that's
the prison gangs like that. And I'm not joking about the problem of prison gangs. I'm acknowledging they exist. And if you are too pretty to be in prison, I'm too pretty to be in prison. Don't do stuff that gets you sent to prison.
Amen.
Tim, thanks for the analysis.
Always, buddy. Thank you.